All right, what's good? What's good? It's your man, King Ray Ray. Y'all put a one in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear, man. Go ahead, stick a one in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear. Salute to you. Salute, man. Welcome back to another episode of the King Ray Ray Show. We in the building, man. We in the building. Appreciate y'all being in the joint. It's always good to be in the land of the kingdom with the kings. Blessings. Peace to you all, man. I guess I didn't kind of go that way a little bit. SJ3, my brother. Salute to you, brother. Salute. Salute King Ray Ray, the realest of the real. Salute to you, my brother. All praises to the Most High, man. Salute to you, brother. Much blessings to you. KTG, what up, man? Adrian Rodriguez, I see you, man. Markel, what's good, young home? I see you. Uncommon, what up, what up? Let's get ready to do this, man. Let's get ready to do this. When you know better, you must do better, or God will punish you harshly. See, when you hear about ignorance, people say ignorance is not knowing. Well, whoever defined ignorance as not knowing was either trying to run game on you or they were just straight up lying. Ignorance is a derivative of the word ignore. So ignore means to know something, see something, and just not pay attention to it willingly. So ignorance is the act of ignoring something. The way disturbance is the act of disturbing something. The way clearance is the act of clearing something. The way repentance is the act of repenting. So let's get that out the way. So when we say ignorance is no excuse, we take the true definition of ignorance, which means ignoring what you know is no excuse. You don't get to ignore what you know. And then when the punishment comes your way, you decide that, wait, this punishment is too much for me. The time to beg for forgiveness is not the time where you're being punished. This punishment is what's left over after your forgiveness. God forgives, but he doesn't forget. So let's talk today. What you must understand, yes, God is a merciful God, but you only get one warning. You only get one warning. One warning is all you get. You only get one warning. Why do you only get one warning? Because why would you get two? When God warns you about something, the next time you do it, you can't ask your way out of it. You can't pray your way out of it. You cannot pray your way out of doing something that you know better than. Especially when God has already forgiven you for it the first time. Now, God is merciful with punishments. He may not throw the entire book at you, but he's going to start throwing some pages at you. He might not give you the full extent of his wrath, but you're going to feel it and you're going to know it. So that's the first thing. You only get one warning with God. You only get all that tender, loving, merciful, that tender kindness, that you know what I mean, that loving kindness and tender mercies. You only get those one time. Every time after that, you will be punished for doing something that you know better than. So here's the first thing we got to understand. It doesn't matter what thrill you get from whatever sin you're committing, whatever the thing is that you're doing that you love so much that you can't resist, the things that feel so good, the thing that smells so good, the thing that tastes so good, the thing that looks so good, the thing that sounds so good. It doesn't matter what that thing is. The benefits of righteousness, the benefits of avoiding, the benefit of staying away from that thing outweigh any thrill you could ever hope to get from it. Any thrill you could ever hope to get from that thing is outweighed by the benefits of righteousness. Whatever God gives you for doing the right thing, man, it isn't one time getting what God gives you for doing the right thing outweighs all of the thrills that you've ever gotten from all of the wrong that you're doing. So why is it that you know better and won't do better when you know what's going to happen if you don't do better? See, people got to understand. People have to understand. God is offended when you take his spiritual gifts for granted. When he's giving you spiritual gifts and you take them for granted, he's offended. You're pretty much telling him he made the wrong decision. You're making God into a liar. You're telling God you lied to yourself. I'm not who you should have given this to. You made a mistake. You're not the God you thought you were. You're not as smart as you thought you were. So much for you being the all-knowing God. You didn't know this, did you? You're playing games, man, because I'm going to be honest with you. Everything you want in life, the only way to fully enjoy it is for it to come with peace of mind. You can have all of the riches in the world, but if they don't come with peace of mind, then what are you going to do? You can have all of the women in the world, but if it doesn't come with peace of mind, what do? You end up like King Solomon. You end up having all of these women and they end up straying away from God, trying to keep up with all of them, trying to please them. You put yourself in a situation where you have told God, I am not the one that you should align yourself with. And then once God realizes that you are serious about that and there's no more forgiveness that's going to make you turn around, then major punishment is going to come your way. Major punishment is going to come your way. Famo, salute. So the more we spend time going in the opposite direction that we're supposed to be going in, the less likely you are to be able to turn it around and go in the right direction. You don't get to spend your entire life burning through your blessings, burning through the gifts that God has given you, wasting time, not capitalizing on the things you need to capitalize on, and then turn around at some point and say, okay, now I'm going to do it. Nope, it's too late. That's where the saying, if you don't use it, you lose it, come from. That's where the saying, if you don't use the blessing that God gives you, he'll take them from you and give them to someone else. Now, we don't want to believe that. We don't want to believe that God will take the blessings that are meant for us and give them to someone else. But you must understand that it will happen. It does happen all of the time. There are many people who can vouch for that. Jay Even, appreciate the 5 bones, man. Salute to the kingdom of the Most High. Definitely, man. Salute to the kingdom of the Most High. All praises due to Jah. So when you think about God is offended when you take his spiritual gifts for granted, you got to think about this. Knowledge of good and evil is a method of forgiveness. Everybody isn't blessed with the wisdom, understanding, knowledge. Everybody isn't blessed with the same insight that we have. Everybody isn't blessed with the same discernment that you have. So all of those things are examples of God forgiving you and blessing you for doing the right thing. So just knowing the right thing is a blessing. It's a gift from God. And not using your wisdom, understanding, knowledge is the equivalent of not accepting it. If God gives you a gift, you don't use it, you don't accept the gift. You're like, what you want me to do with this? What do you want me to do with this? What am I going to do with this? You've given me this. What am I going to do with it? Take it. Give it to someone else who deserves it better. This is the mindset that you have when you take the things that God gives you and you don't use them. These aren't things for you to put up on the shelf and just show off. God believed in you. So you mean to tell me you don't believe in him in return? You don't honor God? When God believes in you, you honor him. See, you don't have to believe in God. I rephrase that. You don't have to believe in God. You have to honor God. When God shows you that he believes in you enough to give you gifts that you see the people around you don't have, all you have to do is look around you, because you ain't going to never go somewhere where there's a room full of people who've all been given the gift of discernment. You're never going to go somewhere where there's a room full of people who've all been given the gift of wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. You're never going to go into a room of people who've all been given the gift of understanding when the Most High is talking to them and being able to discern that, being able to see that, being able to hear that, being able to know that. You're not going to be able to, you're just not going to be in a room full of people. So if you're in any room full of people, you look around you, you see people who haven't been blessed the way you've been blessed. You see people who don't have the insight you have. And you have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to act like you don't have the knowledge of good and evil, to act like you don't know what you should be doing. You want to try to convince the Most High that you don't know better. Well, you're going to find out with the punishment. Because when you know better, you must do better, or God will punish you harshly. I'm not talking about the smack on the wrist. I'm talking about harsh punishment. I'm talking about, boy, listen, you gonna get dealt with. I want y'all to understand, man, you gonna get dealt with. And I promise you, you don't want that in your life. Because here's the thing, man. To do wrong knowingly is a foolish endeavor. It doesn't make sense. To do wrong knowingly is a foolish endeavor. Because here's what happens when you do wrong knowingly. You look at that thing, you think about that thing, you almost turn away from that thing, and you foolishly go ahead and do it. You foolishly go ahead and say it. You foolishly go ahead and align yourself with it. You foolishly go ahead and invite it into your life. You foolishly go ahead and take that person back. You foolishly go ahead and go back to that person. You foolishly go ahead and take that stuff that don't belong to you. You foolishly go ahead and tell that lie about what you've done. And what do fools deserve? If a fool has money, what does the word say? A fool and his money shall soon part. If a fool is running his mouth, what did it say? It is better for people to think that thou art a fool instead of opening your mouth and showing them that whatever they thought was right, you are a fool. And let me tell you something. For some strange reason, people believe that you could do things over and over and over and over again and ask God for forgiveness for the same thing. God is not going to forgive you for the same thing, but asking the Most High to forgive you multiple times for something that he's already forgiven you for, that you already know better than, is disrespectful. Now, if someone disrespect you, what you going to do? When you were a kid, if you disrespect your parents, what they going to do? If you have kids now and they disrespect you, what you gonna do? So what you expect God to do to you when you disrespect him? Talk about, God forgive me. God forgive me again. God forgive me one more time. I know this is 10 times, but God forgive me for the 10th time right now. But let me tell you something that's so great and so merciful about the Most High. If you don't get so far down the punishment rabbit hole that you dead, or you locked away forever, or you done got physically incapacitated to the point where whatever that thing is you want, you can't even do no more. All you have to do is right now today. If you're not to that point today, all you have to do is look at those things that you're doing that you know you shouldn't be doing. Look at those spiritual gifts you're taking for granted that you know you shouldn't be taking for granted. Stop being foolish. Stop following fools. Stop keeping the company of fools. Stop thinking that the thrill of sin is going to outweigh the benefits of righteousness. Remember that you already got your warning. If you stop today and cold turkey those things, because you ain't got no time to take your time to stop. You should have been stopped them. You ain't got time to take your time to get over them. You should have been got over them. You don't have time to take your time and get away from those people. You should have been gotten away from them. If you take today and suddenly go the other way, you don't need time. You done spent too much time in that frame of mind doing those things already. You don't need no time. You don't have time. Stop asking God to forgive you multiple times for the same thing. And just stop doing those things. See, the key to not asking God to forgive you for something is not to do it. Use the wisdom, understanding, and knowledge that you have to create the life, to create the atmosphere, to create the peace of mind, to create the peaceful journey, to create the outreach, to create the discernment, to create the calmness, to create the great life that you want. You already have the wisdom, understanding, knowledge. Why ain't you using it? The question you should have for yourself is, why can I not do better even when I know better? And I give you the answer to that right now. Because you're being a fool. There's two things that God despises: a fool and a repeat fool. Stop being a fool. There's no reward for a fool. There's only punishment. You have to prioritize your connection with the Most High. And the only way to do that is to make sure that you're capitalized on the gift. Man, don't you understand how much of a blessing it is? Again, the only way to do that is to make sure that you're capitalizing on the blessings that God has given you. The wisdom, understanding, knowledge, discernment, the calmness, the control of your faculties, the ability to not rely on your emotionality, to use logic, to stay connected with your spirit, man. All of these things are gifts from God, man, and you must use them. That's the only way that you're going to have the life that you want to live. You must use them. And to say that, well, man, it's hard. No, it's not. You just soft. It's not hard. You just weak. You know what I'm saying? It's not a difficult thing to do. You just not strong enough to do it. All you got to do is do it. Well, you know what? You're not mentally strong enough to do it, but you're spiritually strong enough to do it. So what does that mean? Stop trying to do it with your mind and do it with your spirit. Stop trying to lead your life with your mind. Your mind navigates the world on the path that your spirit, man, sets you on. Your mind doesn't set you on the path. Your mind takes what you've learned in this physical life and navigates the path in a physical way that your spirit man puts you on. Your spirit man cannot navigate a physical path. Your physical man is here simply just to navigate the path. If it's going to take you 50, 60, 70 years to do something, you need to be on top of your health, don't you? If not, you ain't going to live long enough. You need to understand the connection between your physical man who navigates this world and your spiritual man who is the compass by which you plot your course. I'm telling you, brothers, knowing better but not doing better will kill your dreams. The number one dream killer for all men is knowing better but not doing better. There's plenty of men in prison right now who knew better but didn't do better. There's plenty of women in bad situations right now who knew better but didn't do better. There's somebody that's at the not the nursing home, but at the funeral home right now. Why? Because it's over for them, because they knew better, but they didn't do better. There's someone who's in surgery right now, got to have emergency surgeries to get hot lead taken out of them. Why? Because they knew better, but didn't do better. There's someone right now at the doctor's office finding out that they got the big disease with the small name. Because they knew better, but didn't do better. Everything in your life is about your decisions. If you know better and don't do better, it's going to end badly. There's a man right now, out of the 10 men every day who contemplate ending it all at the end of a divorce. Those 10 men, somebody amongst them knew better but didn't do better. If you know better, you have to do better, brothers. That's the only way to navigate this life. And if you don't, it will kill your dreams. Whatever dream you have, I don't mean turn it into a nightmare. I mean just kill the whole dream process. It ain't going to turn your dream into a nightmare. You're not going to have no dreams or no nightmares. As Famo said, knowing is only half the battle. You have to do it. You have to make it happen. And let me ask y'all something, man. Isn't knowing better but not doing better, isn't that intentionally chasing punishment? Because you know punishment comes with it. 100% of the time, if you know better and don't do better, punishment is coming with it. I can guarantee you. Punishment is coming with it 100% of the time when you know better but don't do better. Now, let me ask you something. Isn't chasing punishment intentionally instead of chasing blessings? Isn't that craziness? Doesn't that qualify as insanity? Y'all put a 1 in the chat if y'all think that qualifies as insanity. Here's a man who knows better but doesn't do better. So he's willingly chasing the punishment of knowing better and not doing better instead of just doing better. Man, don't y'all understand that knowing is the hard part of the battle? How are you making doing the hard part of the battle? Knowing better is a cheat code. The cheat code for life is knowing better. Don't you understand this? Everything you do, even if you're in a different city or you're somewhere that you don't normally go. Okay, that light went off, but we should be okay. and you're somewhere you don't normally go, don't you understand that the only way you get to your destination is take the right when you're supposed to, as opposed to taking the left? Don't you understand that when you're preparing a meal in your kitchen, if you should let it cook for 45 minutes and you let it cook for 25 minutes, try to eat it. And when you're in the hospital with food poisoning, don't you understand every single thing in life boils down to a decision that you make to do better or not do better when you know better. It's a decision. Either you do better or you don't. Either you know better or you don't. If you don't know better, you can't do better. You might look up in it sometimes. That's why those of us who know, it is our job to spread the word so we can make sure others know, because the cheat code to life is knowing what to do. People go to school, man, people get in 100,000, 200,000, sometimes even more worth of debt to get an education because they want a job in that field. They want to be that type of professional, and it takes knowing how to do it. Everybody in the medical profession, they take a Hippocratic oath. Everything that they do between them and their patient is confidential. The police have to get a subpoena for information. They can't just go in and demand it. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what you know. Everyone wants to know. And so in every other facet of life, when you know better, you do better. If you're on the interstate speeding, you know when to slow down. You know when you slow down? When you see those lights. Hopefully you're doing the speed limit on the speed. I'm not telling anybody the speed. I'm just being honest with you. Sometime matter of fact, I just got my first super speeder ticket. You know what I'm saying? In the Mach 1, I just got my first super speeder ticket. So I'm telling you what I know. Joker clocked me from the other side of the interstate. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know better. Literally, you know what? Maybe I did know better. I knew better, I did do better. I was slowing down when he clocked me. The speed he clocked me at wasn't the speed he could have clocked me at. I was slowing down. I was just going too fast to be where I needed to be by the time he got by me. So when you think about it, man, you have to understand that when you know better, you do better. You understand? I knew better. I did better. But I was doing, you know what? I was doing too much wrong to get right in time. You understand what I'm saying? When he got by me, when that clock hit me, I was still way over the limit. So, it's one of those things, man. But, I don't really get these I never do. Like, I never get these type of offenses. So, I was able to just get, take a defensive driving thing online and bam, it's not even on my record or anything. Insurance isn't going to go up. I don't have this super speeder thing attached to my name and nothing like that, man. So it's just one of those things, man, where when you know better, you do better. Now, if I hadn't done better and been like, okay, I'm just finna keep rolling, man, the speed he would have clocked me at, boy, listen, I'd have been in some serious trouble. They might have been towing my load in. It was one of those situations. They might have been towing my load in, man. But that's neither here nor there. When you're, and I feel like I can be honest with the kingdom. I can keep it a buck with the kingdom. These things happen sometimes, especially when you got a fast buggy, man. We got a fast buggy, man. You're going to go fast in it sometime. So here's another thing I want y'all to understand, man. Begging for forgiveness for knowingly doing wrong is just you trying to fool God into lightening your punishment. See, you know when you do wrong, when you know better. You know when you knew better. When you know better, you know better. What are we talking about? So when you do wrong, you're like, oh, man, I messed up. You feel really bad. You feel really, really, really bad. But you feel bad for simply not doing what you know you should have done. But God don't see it like that. He ain't looking at you saying, well, son, I know you can't do it. Man, let me tell y'all something. God expects you to do what you know to do. And that thing, well, I just can't do it. I just ain't strong enough. I can't handle it. You lying to yourself and you're trying to lie to God too. You know better. You know how to do it. Once God give you the knowledge of what you know how to do, you know how to do it. You mean to tell me that your flesh is stronger than your spirit, man? It ain't. If that's the case, God wouldn't have gave you the knowledge to do better. He gave you the information to do better because he knows you can do better. And for you to sit and say, no, God, I can't do it. It's too tough for me. He know you're lying and you know you're lying too. He know you're lying and you know you're lying too. Oh, yeah. I got one coming, famo. I got one coming. Got to do it. I got one coming, man. I got to do it. Adam Durden, welcome to the kingdom. Welcome to the kingdom. Appreciate you joining us, brother. So I want you to think about it. Begging for forgiveness. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like your parents tell you, you know, you acting like a child. When you can't bank on your spirit man to do the right thing, when you can't bank on your physical man to take heed to your spirit man, telling it, hey, bro, you know we ain't supposed to do that. You acting like a child. But here's the problem with a child. A child may do something and not get caught. God is looking at you all the time. Whenever you go out of the way, whenever you go off left, God looking right at you. You can't even hide because you're not a kid. You're not a child. And the reality is, even that child, boy, listen, boy, you got to govern a child. You got to govern a child like a prisoner, man. Anytime they get a moment, they can get into something. They want to get into something. Everything is a huge learning experience for them. But that's the difference between you and a child. A child is getting into these things because they're inquisitive. They're learning in a new world every day. They're learning 50 new things every day. They're just learning as they go. They're figuring out life. You're an adult. You have already figured that part of life out. There's nothing you should be so inquisitive about because inquisition is you not knowing something. You're not inquisitive about something you know better than. You're just weak. And here's the problem. You don't get the excuse of being weak because God gave you the strength to do better. I say again, you don't get the excuse of being weak because God already gave you the strength to navigate these things. So this ain't about strength. This is about willingness. This is about desire. This is not about willpower. You mean tell me you don't have the willpower to... Your willpower is so low that you are forced to do things that God gonna punish you for? Is that what you're trying to get me to understand? Is that what you want the kingdom of Ray to understand? Is that what you want the green label gang to understand? The kings, do you hear what they're trying to tell us? They're trying to tell us that they don't have the willpower to do the thing that God already gave them the strength to do, even knowing that blessings are gonna come with it. So basically what you're saying is nothing can motivate you to do the right thing. You're just a dirty person. You're just going to do wrong regardless. Is that your story? Well, here's the problem with that. God has already determined that that's not who you are. So who lying? You or God? God has already determined that you have the strength to do better. So who lying? You or God? God has already determined that you are intelligent enough to take this knowledge that he's giving you and do the right thing with it. So who lying? You or God? Who's lying? And when you try to fool God into lightening your punishment or play on God's heartstrings, and boy, let me tell you something. Once you evoke wrath in God, man, he ain't got no heartstrings for you no more. The punishment comes because of his love for you. And it only makes it worse when you try to run game on God. Man, listen, bro, I want y'all to think of the logic of trying to run game on God. You're going to try to run game on the Most High and make him believe that he should give you another chance. Well, here's the thing about giving you a second and third chance. If I got to give you a second chance, then I shouldn't have gave you the first chance. Because giving you the first chance, you do it one time, pop, you get a spank on the wrist. Okay, don't do it again. If I got to forgive you for doing it the second time, that means that I made a mistake for giving you the first time. That means you so weak that you can't even honor me enough to not do the thing I already forgave you for. I have showed you tender mercies and loving kindness. I have showed you the ultimate forgiveness by not punishing you the first time you did it. And your thanks to the Most High, your repayment to the glory of God is to do it again. Come on, bro. What are you expecting to happen? What are you expecting to happen? What do you expect the Most High to do when you have shown him that he can't trust you? When you have shown him that he was wrong for believing in you? That when you have shown him that you're going to waste the gifts that he gave you? When you have shown him that one warning isn't enough? When you have shown him that you believe the thrill of sin outweighs the benefits of righteousness? When you have shown him that you take his spiritual gifts for granted? When you have shown him that you don't understand that just having the knowledge of good and evil is a method of forgiveness and blessing for you? When you don't understand that not using the knowledge of good and evil is not accepting it? When you don't understand that to do wrong is a foolish endeavor and that you deserve what fools get? What do fools get? Punishment. What do fools get? Forgotten about. What do fools get? Left to die. What do fools get? Left to their own devices. What do fools get? No help at all. So how you going to convince God of these things? You have convinced God that you believe asking him for forgiveness multiple times for the same thing is not disrespectful. As a matter of fact, it is respectful. As a matter of fact, it is you revering him by asking him to forgive you for multiple things, the same thing over and over again. See, once you convince God of all of these things and you convince the Most High that you don't even know that knowing better but not doing better will kill your dreams, that you don't care about your dreams. When you convince the Most High that you are willing to chase punishment instead of chasing blessings, that you are willing to do the things that automatically and ultimately bring multiple punishments instead of doing the things that bring multiple blessings. When you convince the Most High that you believe that you can beg him for forgiveness for knowingly doing wrong because he's fool enough to lighten the punishment that you have earned and you don't even understand that makes it worse. When you convince the Most High that you have forgot to put him first, he will show you what it feels like to be put last on his list of important things, on his list of important servants, on his list of worthy worshipers. Let me tell y'all something, man. This life is not a game. When God chooses you to give you the wisdom, understanding, knowledge that someone needs to navigate this life, you had better not take it for granted because the punishment will be harsh. I promise you the punishment will be harsh. And the harshness of that punishment is just not something that you want to have in your life. It's going to alter everything you do. It's going to alter everything you see. It's going to alter everything you receive. It's going to alter your peace of mind, the possibility and prospects for peace of mind. It's going to alter every single thing in your life. And it's going to put you in a position where you're going to be one of those old elderly fools who think back on the time where all this knowledge you still have actually would have affected the outcome of your life. Let me tell you, boy, there's nothing worse in the world than to see somebody that's old now with all of this wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. And you look at them and they're homeless. And you look at them and they're in dire straits. You look at them, they're not healthy. They got this crazy limp. They're injured. They don't know where the next meal is going to come from. But they have all this knowledge, all this righteous knowledge. But let me tell you the one thing that thwarts and makes all of your righteous knowledge irrelevant. It's righteous indignation. Thinking that you so righteous that you can outsmart the Most High. Thinking that you're so righteous that God's going to let you get away with things. And you're at that point where you have all of that knowledge that could have changed your life trajectory tremendously, sent you in a totally opposite direction than where you are right then. And then you look at your own life right now. And you know what you tell yourself? If I don't get it together right now today, I mean right now today, May 14, 2024, if I don't get it together right now today, that's going to be me. I'm going to be that elderly man with all of this wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, with all of this knowledge of the Most High. I can quote scriptures for you up and down. I can tell you all the things you should apply to your life. I can tell you how to get all of the blessings that come into you by doing what God gives you the knowledge to know you should do, and knowing and doing 100% of the time. I can give you all of that. And then you look at my life and then you say, well, why didn't you do it? And you know what the answer always is? Because I thought I had time. Because I thought I could use God's mercy. I could take advantage of God's merciful nature. But see, let me tell you something. God doesn't have a merciful nature. He has a propensity to be merciful to those who follow his word, to those who live by the statutes and commandments, to those who honor the blessings that he's given them. He has a propensity for mercy toward them. But God is a warrior spirit, homies. He ain't a pushover. He ain't nobody you just gonna be able to walk over. And so the one thing none of you want to be, I don't want any of you to be this. I certainly don't want to be this. I don't want to be that man who had all of the connection with God that you need to turn your life into whatever you want it to be. And you end up having the same life at the end as a man who never worshiped God, as a man who lived however he wanted to live. You are living in a situation with men who have no knowledge of God, and you have all this knowledge of God. You are living in a situation with men who have never been shown the light, and you've been shown the light all this time, and you've been knowing the light all this time. You're in a lifestyle living around men, living in situations and conditions with men who have always said, there is no God, when you've been knowing for all this time there is God. You're in a situation living in conditions with men who have never taken the vow of Nazarite, when you have taken it twice or three times in your life and separated yourself to the ways of God. You are living in the situations and the conditions of men who have always said, YOLO, you only live once. I'm going to seek the thrill of sin. That's what I'm living for. And you've been sitting around here all this time knowing the benefits of righteousness, and now you live in the same life as men who never knew the benefits of righteousness, who never wanted to know the benefits of righteousness. Now, here you are, understanding that God only give you one warning, and then with all the knowledge, he gives you the knowledge to do better. And you sitting over there living with men who never knew better, didn't even know they was getting a warning, just kept chasing the thrill of sin. You sitting over there living a lifestyle with men who don't even have spiritual gifts to take for granted. And you sitting over there with all these spiritual gifts that you took for granted. You sitting over there with men who never knew good from evil. Everything is good to them. They don't even understand forgiveness. And all this time you've been knowing good from evil and always knew it was a method of forgiveness. And you live in the same lifestyle they live in. You sitting over here living a lifestyle with men who never cared about being fools. They wanted to be fools. They didn't care. They thought a fool's folly is the best thing they could do. And you've been knowing all this time that knowingly doing wrong when you know better is a foolish endeavor, and you're going to get what a fool deserves. They wanted what a fool deserved. You didn't, but you're still over there getting it. You've been around here. You know better. These men don't know that asking God for forgiveness multiple times is something that's disrespectful. They never ask him for forgiveness because they never think they're doing wrong. And you sitting over here living the same lifestyle they living in the same quagmire of filth and disrespectful living that they are living in right now, and you know better. You sitting around here, these men been chasing punishment their whole life because they don't know the difference between chasing punishment and chasing blessing. You sitting over here, you know the difference, and you still living the same life for men who've been chasing punishment when you know you should have been chasing blessing. You sitting living a life, man, you hate this life. It's a terrible life. You sitting over here living with men who ain't never thought about begging for forgiveness for things they knowingly do wrong, because again, they ain't did nothing wrong. You knew better. These men ain't never tried to fool God. They don't believe in God. They don't worship God. They don't honor God. You connected with God. Knew your spirit man was your connection, and you still sitting right over there living with them. And let me tell you why you sitting over there living with them. Because like those men never knew to put God first. You forgot to put God first. The worst mistake you can ever make in life, brothers, is forgetting to put God first. See, it's one thing to not know to put God first, but forgetting, boy, do you know how offended God is that you forgot him? All of the blessings you've ever gotten in your life, all of the time you've been healed, all of the time let's take a minute right here. Let me tell y'all something, man. The Most High deserves every single ounce of attention and praise and worship that you have? How have you gotten so full of yourself with righteous indignation that you decide that you're going to put the Most High on the back burner? You're going to put him last in your life? Because let me tell you something. If you put him second, you're putting him last. You're supposed to put him first. So how you get to the point in life where you forget to put God first? Well, you got there. And you know what you're finding out? You're finding out that when you forget to put God first, he'll show you what it feels like to be put last. And you know who the last people on God's list? People that don't even believe he exists. People that ain't even thinking about trying to live a life that's pleasing to him. People that don't want the benefits of righteousness. People that don't care about offending God by taking his spiritual gifts for granted. People don't care about the knowledge of good and evil. They ain't going to use it no matter how much you give it to them. People that do wrongly knowing it's a foolish endeavor. People that ask God for forgiveness multiple times for the same thing. People that know better but not do better and then get their dreams killed and don't even care. People that chase punishment instead of chasing blessings. People that beg for forgiveness when they knowingly do wrong. People who try to fool God into lightening their punishment because they know he has a propensity for mercy. Those are the people that he put last on his list. And if you put him last on yours, your life is going to end up like those people he put last on his list. Because the moment that you forget about him, the moment you forget God, your life is on a spiral down the side of a mountain that's perfectly erect. It ain't going down the hill, it's sliding down the side of a mountain, directly straight down. And so I want y'all to understand something, man. When you know better, you must do better, or God will punish you harshly. Sometimes you'll lose a little. Sometimes you'll lose a lot. And sometimes you'll be to the point where you were here and now you are not. Y'all put God first. Keep grinding and growing, my brothers. Famo, SJ, Mod Squad, Salute, GLG. We out. Peace.